YouTube, this is Techie Just Doodles or Techie Just coming at ya with the prequel to my original blue stage slash screw up stage kitty that actually pretty much looks depressed at this point. But that's okay. This is just a quick little doodle to get you guys feeling confident with actually drawing characters or drawing cartoons of the like. So you guys know from my last video that I have a blue layer right over here. I just added a lining layer that I usually select black and use pure black. If you guys are having issues with choosing your black and white, it's really simple. You've got a tab over here that actually allows you to choose white or black. So you'll always have that consistent color for your drawings. Because I know some people that use like 50 different shades of black because they go in here and they choose some type of color in here and then it's just not the color that they want. So stay with the standard black here. Trust me, you'll thank me later. So we go to our lining tool. I do this a lot considering I have some black blue lines in here. They're kind of really dark and it's going to be harder for me to actually see where I'm lining things. So sometimes what I do is I select my blue layer and then I go to this little thing here that's opacity and I turn it down. So it makes the colors a little bit duller for me. So I can still see my lines, I can still see what I have rough underneath, but the black line is going to be a lot darker than that darker blue I have underneath. So what I usually do, and what you guys are going to want to do, because I'm assuming most of you don't have a Wacom Cintiq like I'm using right now. They do cost a lot of money, and I got one simply because I use it on a regular day basis. It speeds up my workflow, and I actually use it as a working tool. So for me, it justified itself. But for one of you guys just starting, you probably have a bamboo tablet or an tues tablet, and that's okay. Those tablets are fantastic and they're what most people use on a regular day basis. But if you do have one like that, it's going to be harder for you guys to line because I have the screen right in front of me so I can see how I'm lining things. You guys can't. You kind of have to trick your mind with the screen up at the top with your tablet down at the bottom. So zoom in. It's a lot easier. You'll get your lines a lot cleaner than if you're far away. Trust me. And you may not notice that when you're drawing, and then when you zoom up close, it's going to look like a disaster area. So just start wherever. I'm just going to quickly do an overall lining here of the whole entire thing. And then afterwards, I'm going to give you guys some tips and tricks as to how to make your drawing look a little bit more dimensional just with lining. Because actually, when you're in art school and when you do life drawing all the time, which is having a naked model in front of you, no, I don't have a computer while I'm drawing a naked model. It's just normal charcoal. But you have to actually draw with line first and with gesture. And sometimes you don't have a lot of time, or if you're just doing a gesture, you don't need to have a fully rendered piece to finish what you're drawing. And you want to create dimension. You want to make it look like there's a foreground, middle ground, and background. And you can do that with line, and we're taught that in school. So maybe I'll help you guys out there and give you some tips. So as you guys can see here, I got that first half or right side of the cat's face drawn. The line, if you pull back, it looks really smooth. Up close, not as much, but again, I'm using a higher end tablet, so my lines are going to be a lot smoother. But you guys can get smooth lines. Don't get me wrong, you'll get smooth lines. But also what I wanted to know is when you're doing your lining, sometimes you may not like your line. That's okay. This is your screw up layer, right? So see, I'm adding some hair at the side here that's going off the face a little bit, and continuing my line up. And just correcting myself because, again, the blue line is mainly a gesture. It's your screw up layer. It's just your foundation. You don't have to follow it completely. You are on a separate layer. So when you actually delete your blue layer, because you're not going to want it afterwards, you're going to be left with your black layer. So this is the layer that you want. But a good thing about digital work, guys, is it's not like pencil or pen. It's not permanent. You can undo, you can step backwards, you can go to your history tool. Nothing is really set in stone with digital artwork, and that's why I am mainly a digital artist. I find it easier for me to work digitally. Oh, another note, guys, is if you don't have a Cintiq and you want your lines a lot cleaner, another tip that I would suggest is to actually draw what you want on the computer digitally by hand and then scan it in. Scan it into the computer, place it as a layer, put a layer over top of it, and trace over it. It will probably make things a lot easier for you guys. I personally don't use that because I am mainly a digital artist. I actually work backwards. I do with when I'm doing traditional work in school, what I actually do is I draw everything digitally and then I trace it over with pencil or whatever, and then that's how I start. So I am mainly a digital artist. I have a hard time going the other way around. So that's just a little interesting tip or tidbit you guys probably didn't know about me. So I'm almost done the lining here. Let me just finish the whiskers. See, this is a good example too, because when you're drawing, I want you guys to use your wrist. Don't use your hand too much, because you're gonna cramp up and you're not gonna get a smooth line. See this line, how smooth this is? If I did this again, I'm probably not gonna get it exactly. That's okay. Don't worry about that. Your layer before is your screw up layer. You don't like that whisker? Step backwards. Make another one, you know? Alright, so that looks pretty good. I'm okay with that. Now do the other side. Quick hand motion. Use your wrist. It makes a lot neater line, cleaner line. That's another thing that you guys can use to keep your lines cleaner when you're drawing. Forgot these lines here. And see, I still screw up. I screw up. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. And everybody has to start somewhere. Don't think that everybody, you know, that has artistic talent is just able to do everything right away. A lot of it is learning, like you guys are going to learn from this, hopefully. Okay, so that's the lining there. Now let me talk about form and how to create dimension. One thing that we are definitely taught in school is that things that are closer to you are actually going to be darker. This isn't something that you would think normally, especially in high school. They don't teach you stuff like I'm talking to you about right now in terms of foreground, middle ground, background. They don't talk to you about that. Pretty much what you do in high school, or this is from my experience, is you copy pictures. Art isn't pictures, guys. Art is life. So for me personally, when you're looking and you get training in life drawing, you learn so much more than that. So if you are considering going into art, definitely consider going into some life drawing courses that will help your portfolio. Not only that, it will help your skills in terms of how to actually build form. Now, this cat here, it's a fictitious character. But if it were a real character, what would be coming forward? Probably, here I'm going to do another layer, and this is going to be my circling area, or layer. There you go. Just to show you guys what I'm talking about, I'll probably use red, and that's what I'll start with. So, this part here, his nose, would probably protrude a little bit, right? It's not going to be just flat, because right now this drawing looks very, very flat. So, we want to create the illusion of form. So I'm going to undo that, and I'm just going to go into my black here. And I'm going to you can even make your line thicker, your size thicker at the top. Ooh, that's too thick. Or you could just go over it. Again, if you guys are using a Wacom bamboo tablet or an Intuos tablet, normal tablet, it's probably easier just to make the size bigger, or else you're going to be going over your lines like crazy. So, as you see here, you just press over top. And right away, that nose is being brought forward. It looks a lot bigger, a lot more in front than what it did before. Same with the little scruff up here. That brings that forward a little bit. The eyelids are going to be more forward than the back part of the eye, right? And this is what we call line weight. Line weight can determine whether your drawing looks flat or whether it looks alive. And it is something that I feel that art teachers in high school should really talk about, but they don't. And I'm not going to lie, it makes things harder. It makes things, especially for people like me that wanted to go into a BA program like I'm in now, to get into that. So yeah, see, this brings everything forward, and you can make your lines different sizes. So obviously the nose is a lot closer than the eyelid is going to be. So I can make that line a little bit darker. And as you see here, it actually looks closer. Same with this bit here. I'm not going to line the whole entire thing, but just here, this brings this forward a little bit. Oop, crap. Makes it look closer to you. Same with this bottom lip here, because the teeth are behind it. I want to make it look like the teeth are actually behind there. So there you go, guys. That's pretty much how you make dimension with just line. Another thing is adding more information. So in terms of the nose we have determined is probably the furthest thing out on this piece. So you can add a little bit more detail. So maybe some shade lines there, some shade lines there. Here I'll add some, oops, onto there. And that automatically makes that nose pop out way further, makes the chin pop out further. Everything looks better. And what you're actually trained to do in high school, or your mind automatically goes to that, is to put lines in the background. This doesn't do anything for you. All this is going to do is confuse your audience, confuse what you're trying to portray, because what this is doing is actually bringing that part forward. And since we've lined the eye here, it makes everything look flat again. It doesn't work. So, I mean, we are taught opposite things. This is what I was taught in school. I'm in a higher illustration program, so hopefully you guys trust my word on that and know that that's what I am taught and what works. And now if we back up a little bit, I think that drawing has a lot more form than what it did before. Let's get rid of the blue lining there. Another thing you may notice is when you take away the blue lining, your lines are a little bit off, or they're not the way you want them to be. That is totally fine. You can go back in and you can fix it. I'm going to just line this a little bit better here. Another thing with tablets, especially the Intuos series, is the pressure sensitivity of the tablet is so much better than on a bamboo. So if you're really serious about drawing digitally and you want to get into a higher program, or you are in a program and you want your drawings to come out better, I highly suggest picking up an Intuos tablet. You don't have to get the top of the line tablet, guys, but if you get an Intuos 4 small, this will really help you guys in terms of sensitivity. So as you guys can see here, this is the finished line drawing of the cat. Actually, I probably could make the whiskers a little bit thicker, but I think I'm just going to leave them for now. I'll leave that up to you guys. Now, what I want you guys to do is, if you're brave enough, or if you feel confident enough, post a video response to this video. Show me what you guys are working on. That would be fascinating for me, just to see that I'm helping any of you. That'd be great. I'd love that, and I'd probably put your little video clip or whatever into my own video to show, or pictures of it to show you guys your progress and how you're doing. I think that would be absolutely great. Teaching is something that I've actually considered doing for a long time, and it's cool that I can do that with my YouTube subscribers. So if you guys have any questions at all about how I did this or anything like that, feel free to drop me a line at any time. You can leave me a comment, a PM. You can email me right here. There will be an email that pops up there. And you can drop me a line at any time. Actually, if you send me an email, I'll respond a lot faster because it goes right to my phone. So without further ado, guys, hope this helped you. Hope it makes sense to you guys what I said. If not, if you don't understand what I'm saying, and or I'm rambling too much, give me feedback, constructive criticism. I want to help you guys. This isn't for me, it's for you guys. All right? So until next time, guys, toodles.